let's talk about the issues, or let's say the hustles of the invention part. So for the medical professionals that are always trying to, not always trying, but they have a lot of ideas, but it's hard for them to make the ideas go out there and move forward, because as you said, there is all this process of having to do the prototypes and all of that. So what would you suggest to these professionals that are trying to develop something? What would you suggest them to do?
Well, you touched on a very important part here, which is the prototype. I've read, because I'm an inventor myself and a serial entrepreneur, I'm aware that there's a huge leap between thinking of an idea and building a prototype of an idea. And many people never take that first step. They kind of talk themselves out of it, you know. And yet it is that engagement piece. Think of like a patient that you want to have engage in their own recovery until they actually take that action step and start to kind of see, where am I and where do I need to get to? Nothing really happens. And it's the same with their invention. So the first thing I would say is build a prototype. Now, here's a hang up many therapists and other inventors get into. What if someone copies my prototype? Well, first let me say, it's never worth copying something that doesn't have sales. And so no one's interested in copying your work until you got 100,000 sales. Then everyone's looking over your shoulder, right? But in these early days, when you're like going over to Home Depot and cutting metal or buying snippers or getting, you know, PVC pipe or webbing or things like that, nobody's watching. You know, it's kind of a paranoia. Build a prototype. Try it out on some patients. Send it home with a patient and then find out if they're using it. And if they are, then build a few more prototypes, because the patient's going to give you input and you're going to learn from your first mistake. Get a half a dozen made. Our inventor here made several, sent them out with other therapist friends, and it was those friends that played a part in encouraging him to move forward. Once you've gotten to that stage, then find a partner who you can trust, who you feel like you can work with. And that's really an iterative back and forth process. It won't always be the first person, but you should look for people that are already working in your category.